Here's my attempt at a tutorial on creating a Cloud MySQL database using Google's Cloud Platform and also using R to interface with that database. So the way that I'm going to illustrate this process here is by trying to create a database to store some data on COVID-19 related economic and financial assistance offered to small businesses through the EIDL and PPP programs. So the Small Business Administration, they administered two programs, the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program and the Paycheck Protection Program, that were aimed at providing some financial relief to small businesses in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. And those data are available. I'm going to try to create a database to store those data. And that's what's going to be the illustration that we walk through here. The step-by-step guide I'd like to provide you guys with, because I want to be really deliberate about what I'm doing here. My intention is to create something that's really accessible and digestible for anyone, so I want to try not to skip any steps and be really clear about what's going on. The first thing that I'm going to do is get the data, so I'll go out to the SBA's website and they have some downloadable CSV files. I'm going to save those in a local directory, and those CSV files are what is going to be used to populate the database later on when I get the cloud, the Google Cloud MySQL database up and running. So following that, I'm going to walk through how to create a new project using Google's Cloud Platform. Then we'll walk through adding a MySQL database instance to the project, then creating a database on the database instance. I'll show you one way that you can connect to the new database instance using Google's Cloud Shell, and then I'll demonstrate how to use Google's Cloud Platform to do some things, do some kind of basic database management stuff like adding a user. Then we'll connect to the database using R, and then using our R connection to the database, I'll demonstrate a couple simple things, one being just creating a new table on the database. So there is one prerequisite here that I'm not going to go over, and that's you will need a Google account with billing enabled. That's pretty simple to set up. You could Google it, or you could just go to this URL here, cloud.google.com/billing, and there's a quick start guide on how to set up a Google account and enable billing so that you can start provisioning cloud-based resources and building projects using Google's Cloud Platform. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. So really quickly, I just wanted to show you guys where I got the data from for this exercise, because I'm not providing the data in any downloadable format for you guys. So if you want to kind of play along with the same data that I'm using here, just wanted to show you where you can get it. I'm working with some data from small business loans made through the Small Business Administration for COVID relief. So there's two programs. There's the Economic Injury Disaster Loans Program, and there's the Paycheck Protection Program. And so there's some data available on recipients of loans through each of these programs, and it's pretty easy to get to and download in some CSV formats. So for the Paycheck Protection loans, let me just back up here and I'll show you. I just did a quick Google search for SBA PPP loans, and it takes you to the Treasury site, right? And you can download CSVs for all the states, or you can download them state by state. One thing that is not critical for this exercise, but is nice to know, is that these PPP data are segregated by loans that are in excess of $150,000 and loans that were less than $150,000, and you get more information on the recipients who took more than $150,000 worth of money, and those who took less, you get less information on those entities. But this will allow you to download PPP data in a CSV format. And for the EIDL program, you can just go to the SBA.gov funding programs, coronavirus relief. You got to scroll down here a little bit there's a page for economic injury disaster loans. And if you scroll down a bit, there's a hot link for some data. So you can go here and you can get the EIDL data. And it'll just take you to a zip file. That zip file's got 3 CSV files inside of it, and you can just download those and save them, and that's what I did. So I have these just saved locally in a directory on my machine.